Hello, thank you for joining with me in the journey through the text of A Course in Miracles, by the Foundation for A Course in Miracles by Ken Wapnick, PhD. This is the section in Chapter 3 titled by Ken as Christianity, and we are in Chapter 3, The Innocent Perception. Sorry. Jesus' gift to us in this course is saying that something is inherently insane in this notion of sacrifice. Sacrifice is a notion totally unknown to God. It arises solely from fear, and frightened people can be vicious. Sacrificing in any way is a violation of my injunction that you should be merciful even as your Father in heaven is merciful. It has been hard for many Christians to realize that this applies to themselves. Good teachers never terrorize their students. To terrorize is to attack, and this results in rejection of what the teacher offers. The result is learning failure. Jesus acknowledges the viciousness in the world, but does not share the ego's judgment of sin deserving punishment. Rather, he teaches that attack is an expression of fear, and so, by implication, asks us to forgive the viciousness that religions have perpetuated in his name. Later in the text, Jesus asks of us, "Teach not that I died in vain. Teach rather that I did not die by demonstrating that I live in you." We are to demonstrate Jesus' gentle message of resurrection, awakening from the dream of death, by living his message. To reinforce fear by attack, as unfortunately the history of Christianity has demonstrated, merely perpetuates the ego's thought system of separation, guilt, and fear. This needs to be forgiven, not condemned. Innocence is incapable of sacrificing anything because the innocent mind has everything and strives only to protect its wholeness. It cannot project. It can only honor other minds because honor is the natural greeting of the truly loved to others who are like them. The Lamb taketh away the sins of the world, in the sense that the state of innocence or grace is one in which the meaning of the atonement is perfectly apparent. The atonement is entirely unambiguous. It is perfectly clear because it exists in light. Only the attempts to shroud it in darkness have made it inaccessible to those who do not choose to see. In the innocence of Christ, God's Son, as he created him, there is no loss, but only perfect wholeness and oneness, wherein the ego doctrine of one or the other does not exist. The atonement is the gentle reminder of this truth, for it teaches that nothing has occurred to besmirch the purity of our self. Darkness has no power to affect the light. The purpose of this section is to open our eyes by having us question truths we had perhaps blindly accepted before. Atonement cannot mean suffering or loss if it reflects heaven's love. The atonement itself radiates nothing but truth. It therefore epitomizes harmlessness and sheds only blessing. It could not do this if it arose from anything but perfect innocence. Innocence is wisdom because it is unaware of evil, and evil does not exist. It is, however, perfectly aware of everything that is true. The resurrection demonstrated that nothing can destroy truth. Good can withstand any form of evil as light abolishes forms of darkness. The atonement is therefore the perfect lesson. It is the final demonstration that all the other lessons I taught are true. If you can accept this one generalization now, there will be no need to learn from many smaller lessons. You are released from all errors if you believe this. Returning to the principal theme of these early chapters, a major mistake of Christianity was in failing to recognize not only the universality of God's innocent Son, but that his seeming guilt existed only in the mind, the result of nothing more than a mistaken decision. His innocence can still be found there, awaiting his corrected choice. Jesus' purpose has continued to point to this truth of atonement, at the same time lovingly taking our hand to lead us back to the mind where this truth has remained. Resisting Jesus and his gentle authority is the ego's defensive posture that ensures its safekeeping from his love. This is the first intimidation of the authority problem, which is prominent later in the chapter and is discussed in our next section. The problem with Jesus' authority is a shadowy fragment of the problem with our creators, since we believe he is hell-bent on our destruction and his love cannot be trusted. No more can Jesus's. God does not believe in retribution. His mind does not create that way. He does not hold your evil deeds against you. Is it likely that he would hold them against me? Be very sure that you recognize how utterly impossible this assumption is, and how entirely it arises from projection. This kind of error is responsible for a host of related errors, including the belief that God rejected Adam and forced him out of the Garden of Eden. It is also why you may believe from time to time that I am misdirecting you. The insanity of this thinking has gone largely unnoticed for over 2 millennia because it is not only the foundation for the 2 Western religions of Judaism and Christianity that have carried the awesome weight of divine authority, but for our very identity as a self that is sinfully separated from its source. Its underlying assumptions of guilt and projection form the basis of the authority problem, which is our next topic. And we are going to go ahead and stop there today. I wanted to finish this section up, so I read a bit longer. I hope that you're enjoying this, and I hope that you have a most wonderful day. And I just wanted to reiterate that I'm doing this for myself, but I want to share it for anyone that it may help. I don't believe in clouding it with my own opinions. Maybe if I always share if I'm inspired to, but Ken Wapnick has just been a wonderful teacher for me, and I want to share that with others. So, Ken Wapnick, Journey Through the Text of A Course in Miracles. You can buy this through the Foundation for A Course in Miracles online or Amazon, and certainly read it yourself. It helps me so much, and I'm hoping that some people will be able to listen to this. I'll make a playlist with all the videos, but that it'll help you move from one to the other and help you absorb it, because I like to re-listen to it so I can just help me to remember the truth. So thank you so much for joining with me. I love you. Have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow.